we are introduced to Shuchen Academy, home to specifically high-class and prestigious students from wealthy homes and families. Our main protagonists are Student Council President Miyuki Shirogane and Student Vice Council President Kaguya-sama. They are often admired as the best couples in the school, but in the face of reality these assumptions were far from the truth. In a sense that they aren't dating, both have grown to secretly admire each other over working together in the past 6 months, but they refrained from admitting their love. The truth was, Miyuki was willing to start a relationship with Kaguya if she begged him to, having the idea that it wouldn't be long before Kaguya comes crawling to be his girlfriend. From Kaguya's point of view, she's too rich to start a love affair with an ordinary person. However, if Miyuki were to come running and prostrating to be her boyfriend, only then would she consider him. Instead, they fight and bring all tactics necessary to the table in order to make their rival confess to liking them first, by often engaging in battle of the brains which typically leave either of the two parties aghast and hysterical. Love is war. The person who falls in love loses. On a particular occasion, Chika Fujiwara, current secretary of the high school student council and Kaguya childhood friend, gets an epiphany to go on a trip during the summer. Miyuki can't swim, so he chooses the mountains. Contrary to Kaguya, she suggested the beach would be better. This incites a battle between the two, deciding whether to go to the beach or mountain for the summer. Although Kaguya wins the battle of the wits, she's immediately mortified when Chika rejoices and mentions getting a new swimsuit due to her big bust size, unlike Kaguya, who is flat on the chest. Another battle comes up when Kaguya wishes to go to the mountains out of embarrassment from Chika's chest, but Miyuki denies this, so the decision is left for Chika to decide, but the significance of the battle is ruined as the location Chika chose is macabre. Tsubasa, a student, asks Miyuki for relationship advice. Boastful Miyuki agrees to help though with having zero knowledge on romantic affairs. Kaguya takes the opportunity to peep and listen to what opinions Miyuki had on a relationship. Miyuki, realizing Kaguya was eavesdropping on their conversation, blatantly lied about liking all her personalities, throwing her astounded, thereby giving him a higher chance of getting a confession from Kaguya. Although, rather than getting a love confession, Kaguya abnormally becomes nicer towards him. The headmaster confines a magazine and gives it to Miyuki, student president, to dispose of, but he's busy with other things. Intrigued by it, Kaguya reads it, then realizes the lewdness of its composition. She asked if Miyuki has a girlfriend, to which he replied, not at the time. Pressing further, she asked if he had done it before. Faking and bluffing, Kaguya thinks he has done it with his little sister. This asinine comment leaves Miyuki affronted. Moving forward, she states she had done it with her newborn cousin and it wasn't a big deal. Miyuki and Chika are both flabbergasted and later disappointed after having to understand Kaguya thought doing it was kissing, meaning her education and awareness towards sexual enlightenment was austerely neglected. In the evening, Miyuki claims to have a high understanding of Kaguya. This led her to ask a series of questions to test Miyuki's knowledge on her. Although Miyuki's answers seemed to substantiate his assumption of Kaguya's affection towards him, he knows her better and replies it was a dog, not him. Ensuing the result of a cat stuck in her car, Kaguya walks to school happily. She helps a scared little girl named Mikiti cross the road and later runs into Miyuki, who reprimanded her for being late, before insisting she get on his bike, else they would run late and set bad examples as prefects. As time went on, visitors from France were expected to visit the school, so the school principal put the council in charge of cosplay preparations for a welcoming party. Kaguya wears a pair of cat ears and Miyuki is secretly infatuated with Kaguya's beauty, but he hides it. Same goes for Kaguya when Miyuki wears the cat ears. The two become exhilarated by each other and give out an intense look that scares Chika. After playing a game of wits on who should go shopping for souvenirs and sweets, Miyuki and Kaguya unexpectedly lose to Chika. Later that night, Kaguya is pushed to call Miyuki in hope to discuss their shopping tomorrow through the help of her valet, Hayasaka. The visitors from France finally arrive and the school throws the welcoming party. To Miyuki's disbelief, he's the only student in the entire gathering who could not speak French. Immediately, it is revealed that the principal is aware of Miyuki's ignorance in French, so in order to make sure the academy could entrust Miyuki as council president, he needed to know his caliber, so he instructed a lady to personally gauge Miyuki. The lady confronts Miyuki and makes an abusive diatribe towards him, but he doesn't understand. Kaguya catches this and outfaces the lady, giving her a taste of her own medicine. Ensuing the confrontation, the lady runs off in fear, and after the party, Miyuki thanked Kaguya as he knew that he was being badmouthed by the lady, but she came to his rescue. turning our protagonist's face red from blushing. Some time passed. A female student, Nagisa, visited Kaguya for relationship advice, and contrary to her expectations, Nagisa wanted advice on breaking up with her boyfriend, Tsubasa, who once sought relationship advice from Miyuki. Although Kaguya has never been in a relationship, the rumor that she and the student council president Miyuki are a perfect couple still clouds every pupil's mind. In her intention of finding out the good qualities of Nagisa boyfriend, Kaguya loses herself in an affectionate description of what an exemplary boyfriend should look like, and this reminds her of Miyuki in a way that makes her face flourish. Retracting her flustering epiphany and focusing on the matter at hand, Chika barges in the room. Being a professional love detective, she makes Nagisa realize how much she likes her boyfriend by making Nagisa picture her boyfriend with another girl cuddling. This fantasy plummets Nagisa's mood. Funnily enough, even Kaguya's mood too. Through the help of our ever-cheerful Chika, Nagisa thanks them before leaving. It's raining outside. The student council had finished their work for the day and decided to go home. Surprisingly, Kaguya wasn't getting picked up as usual, and Miyuki didn't bring his bicycle. Also, none of them brought their umbrellas, or so they said. In reality, they both did. They just hide it inside their backpack so either one of them would show theirs and ask the other to join, which could be corroborated as showing love to the other party. Later, it's revealed that Kaguya plotted to gain the upper hand against Miyuki. Just as Kaguya went for the killing strike to expose Miyuki, who already soaked his underwear from sweat, Chika emerged from the darkness and gave them a spear umbrella to share. After a while, we're introduced to student council treasurer, Yu Ishigami, a somewhat gloomy student who rarely shows up to the student council meetings, preferring to do most of his work at home. Although he wished to resign as student council treasurer, as believed he was going to get murdered by none other than Kaguya. Miyuki begged him to stay, if not they would go bankrupt, but Yu still insisted, revealing a couple of times he had gotten killing intent from Kaguya. Immediately, Kaguya enters holding a knife and blood on her body. She scares the crap out of both of them. Demanding to speak with Yu, she threatened him not to resign. Just then Chika burst in, with a knife in her chest, frightening the two boys again. Later on, we see Hayasaka convincing Kaguya to get her nails done to impress the president. The next day she had her nails done, but was somewhat very naive as to if Miyuki would notice them. After in the council room, she tries everything possible to get Miyuki notice her nails, but to her it seemed futile. Meanwhile, Miyuki is awestruck by her incredibly fashionable nails. After school, Kaguya walks out disappointed as her nails didn't get noticed by Miyuki. Unexpectedly, Miyuki rushes to Kaguya and tries to compliment her nails, but he's too flustered to do so, causing him to disappear the way he came. Yu and Miyuki discuss the recent club activities. Miyuki is planning on cutting the club budgets, so he tries to know what you think of it. Surprisingly, Yu budget cuts are tyrannical as they focus primarily on couples in the school. Ensuing that, Miyuki insists Yu join a club. He explains the different clubs the council members were in. Hearing the clubs Chika and Kaguya were in, Yu makes several comical yet denigrating remarks about the differences in the sizes of the oranges on the girls' chests. Unbeknownst to him, they were both behind. Chika constructed a cane which she used in whacking the senses of Yu. Afterwards, Yu decides to take a leave and go back home to die. Kei, Miyuki's pretty sister, visits the students' council room. Kaguya makes Kei her acquaintance and even plots to get emotionally attached to her, so much that Kei would refer to her as Big Sister, as this would increase the chances of Miyuki opening up to her. Unfortunately, this cannot be possible as Kei already refers to Chika as Big Sister. This made Kaguya almost see Chika as her one and only true enemy, although this rebounds after she gets invited to shopping. After the end of the day, Miyuki inquired how Kei's meeting in the council room today went, to which Kei answered how uneasy she felt around Kaguya for some reason. During the exam period, Miyuki is able to retain his position as the number one again in the entire school, the sole reason for his presidency. Meanwhile, Kaguya openly tells him how she didn't care, but internally she was ticking like a time bomb waiting to go off in annoyance from finding out. Miyuki pretended to not care, but when he got into the restroom he laughed and threw air punches like a lunatic. Meanwhile, before the exam, we're shown how Kaguya helps you in preparing for a good result. If not, you would have been held back a year for failing. Following up, the council members excluding our gloomy you are held back from leaving the school premises due to a typhoon. With each thunderbolt, Chika would freak out believing the thunder god wanted to steal her belly button. She immediately orders a taxi and leaves while Miyuki is stranded. Kaguya, knowing Miyuki needed to go to work and got stranded due to the rain, she almost blurts out giving a ride to Miyuki, but this would seem like a driving date, so instead she tries to make Miyuki ask her for a lift instead. When Kaguya's ride arrives, she secretly waited under the rain for Miyuki to appear at the last minute and ask for a lift, but instead, the president resolved to his bike, unknowingly splashing water on Kaguya and dashing at a very high speed. The next day, it's revealed that Kaguya has caught a cold. The president and Chika decide whoever wins a card game would pay her a visit. After learning from that Kaguya stood in the rain like she waited for someone, Miyuki realized he splashed water on someone standing in the rain. At that point, Miyuki is driven to fix his mistakes, so he visits her home. Upon getting there, Hayasaka already knows the irrelevant love battle going on between the both of them, so she leaves them alone for 3 hours. Finding out Kaguya is a total creep whenever she's sick, she pulls him to her bed and they both sleep together. When she woke up, seeing the president on her bed sent her into a frantic state, which was screaming and sending him out of her bed. After they both explain what happened respectively and hearing Miyuki out, driven by misery and negativity, corroborates Kaguya to a typical black-haired flat-chest rom-com character. Although the conclusion both party made was no one was really at fault and should feel guilty over the matter. It's summertime. Miyuki has nothing planned out for his summer, and so did Kaguya. Although he wanted to spend his summer on a trip with Kaguya so badly, telling her to go on a trip with him would seem like confessing his love for her, basically the same as admitting defeat. This is the exact problem Kaguya faced too. Unable to tell the student council president she wished to go on a trip with him, else she would admit defeat if making the first move. So instead, since it was summer, they all decided to see the fireworks display. Half a month had passed. During that time, nothing special happened. Kaguya was so much focused on Miyuki contacting her first during the time, and this wasn't any different from Miyuki. He spent his time despondently every day without being beside Kaguya. Kaguya is prepared to head to the summer festival as Chika and Miyuki are waiting for her. Unfortunately, she's stopped by a bodyguard due to her recent behavior and them not being able to protect her from that much crowd. Feeling disconsolate, she sends a text to Chika apologizing for being unable to make it. Miyuki sees this and flares up. He wouldn't be spending another moment without seeing his Kaguya-sama, so he heads to her house on his bike. Meanwhile, Kaguya lays on her bed like a potato. Hayasaka consoles her and ultimately helps her escape by switching identities. Miyuki had already arrived at Kaguya's home and understood the situation, so he headed back to the festival. As for Kaguya, her taxi driver informed her it would be impossible to get to the festival because of the traffic, so she headed out on foot. Nevertheless, she still doesn't make it. She didn't get to see the night skies lit up with the 3 most important people in her life. Sobbing uncontrollably in an alley, Miyuki miraculously surfaced close to her and promised to show her the festival fireworks, no matter the stake. Reuniting with and Chika, they board the same taxi as Kaguya did earlier and drive to another location of the city where the fireworks would be displayed. They managed to make it there on time and watch the fireworks display from the taxi. Summer has ended and school has resumed. From the event of what happened during summer, the two try to initiate a conversation with each other, but fail on multiple occasions. After colliding, a conversation starts between them, but Miyuki misinterprets Kaguya's sentence and runs off in a rather unfashionable manner, and Kaguya chases after him.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more.